So I've been a wedding filmmaker for a long time, and I've watched a lot of wedding films. Now I'll say that there's usually a couple things that really sets apart the truly fantastic wedding films from the ones that are just kind of basic, kind of mediocre. And one of the main things that I always notice is the lack of authentic moments. A really basic film doesn't have hardly any authentic moments, but a film that I'm just like, this is a masterpiece, has so many authentic moments. So I wanted to make a video of a couple key ways on the wedding day you can capture more authentic moments. So the first up on this list is right when the bride is getting ready in her dress. Typically the mother of the bride is there, and usually this is a very stressful, anxiety-driven time, and the photographer is wanting to run and do some portraits, and the coordinator is kind of breathing down everyone's neck. We got to go to the first look. And usually this moment can just go by way too quick. But this is actually one of the best moments for really authentic reactions. So right before the bride, gets pushed to another spot or, does her first look, I want you to go find the mom and walk her up. Usually the bride and the mom will be pretty close because the mom will be helping her put on her dress. But if she's not, maybe the maid of honor is helping the bride put on the dress. You can have the mom come over and literally just say something really simple like, hey, I want you two to just have a moment. It's okay, the timeline will happen, the first look will happen. This is a really special moment as part of your day. Mom, just have a moment with your daughter. And just by giving the mom permission and just by saying have a moment, by not directing more than that, you'll be shocked that the bride, her defenses will come down, the mom's defenses will come down, and you're gonna get some of the best words, some of the best crying, some of the best emotions, and that's really gonna set your films apart. And next is shooting the ceremony with more cameras. I know it's easier and less expensive to have one or two cameras, especially if you're a solo shooter, but I found that really expensive wedding films and really films that I'm really invested in, they have lots of angles during the ceremony. Like when the vows are being said, you have the person say it's the groom speaking the vows, and it's cutting to the bride's reaction to those vows. And when they're saying their vows, we're seeing the parents, we're seeing the grandparents crying. We're seeing the kids, looking and just being thoroughly engaged. We're seeing a wide shot, maybe on a gimbal, kind of going back and forth, all of the same moment. I have found one of the easiest ways to get more authenticity in your films is to have better ceremony coverage. And next is the first look. I think as filmmakers, we're not really thinking about or utilizing the first look to its maximum potential. Usually because it's at a part of the day where, the photographer wants to move them for bridal party pictures, which is totally fine. But I think there's a couple little things you can do to pull out more authenticity out of your first look. So the first one is literally just talking to the couple. So oftentimes you put the groom waiting for the bride, and you're just kind of like, okay, you're getting a bunch of shots with him, and then you say, okay, the bride's coming, and he's just all frazzled. But instead, go up to the groom, put your camera down and say, hey, this is your moment. This is the one part of the day where it's just gonna be you two. I want you guys to just have a moment. Just be present with one another. Don't worry about the cameras. Just let whatever emotions you're feeling flow, and just be vocal about it, and tell, your bride or tell your partner just how much you love them. And just by doing something like that, you'll see a very audible and visual calm come over whoever you're talking to for that first look. And it's gonna make a massive impact. And do the same thing with the bride and walk up to her and say, hey, I just want you to know, yes, there's cameras here, but I just want you to be present and really experience this moment. Just that one thing alone will make your first look so much better. Now, there'll be some couples where you say that to and it's not going to make any difference, but say you told it to 10 couples, maybe 5 out of the 10 couples, they're going to have a much better first look. And maybe the other 5, it's not going to make any difference, but if you were to not do that at all, you would have 10 first looks with no impact at all from what you said before. And so really start doing that. I've noticed that could really make a massive impact. And then also for the first look, a lot of us as filmmakers, they do their first look and we immediately want to put them in a pose. We want to do something different and kind of, just get our shots. But I have found actually waiting. So talk to the photographer beforehand if you can, and say, after their first look, can we just hang out for 2 minutes? And it might feel like a long time, but for video, it's really gonna make the moment just so much more impactful, and it's gonna make them enjoy the moment more. And just let them sit in their first look for 2 minutes. 2 minutes will feel like an eternity when you're used to just kind of moving them to the next spot. But talk with the photographer. Not all photographers will want to do that with you, but the ones that will, that is amazing. And that extra 2 or even 5 minutes that you just let the couple sit there without like posing them and directing them, you're gonna get real moments. And then I want to talk about timeline, because so often we ruin our potential for authentic moments because our timeline has no time for them. We're constantly running from here to here and there to there. And so one of the best things you can do if you're not doing it already is try to get the timeline 1 month before the wedding rather than a couple days. Because I know most of us, we don't look at the timeline until 2 days before the wedding, and that is way too short notice to make any substantial changes. So try to get the timeline a month or even before, when the coordinator is still working on the timeline. Have the coordinator send you a rough draft, and always put in padding. So where I really try to work in more padding is for portraits. If they have like 45 minutes for portraits, I like to say, hey, can we extend it another 15 minutes? Even if I don't think we really need that 15 minutes, I know that's gonna make me less stressed, make the photographer less stressed, and the bride and groom less stressed. And that's really the name of the game, is making everyone less stressed so that you can pull out those authentic moments. Also, in terms of getting ready, one thing that I have started doing that so many other people have done and with extreme success is start time. So say your start time is at 10 a.m. on the wedding day. Most of us would get to the wedding maybe 15 minutes before, or maybe exactly at the start time. The problem with that is as soon as you get there in the start time, you're expected to be working. You're expected to be getting shots and doing all these things, and it kind of starts the day off on a very stressful footing. But instead, what I'd encourage you to do is get there an hour before your start time. First, it's gonna really wow the planner or the photographer, just that you're there early, and view this time as marketing time, because by having that extra hour of buffer, it's gonna make the whole day better. It's gonna make you churn out a better wedding film, which is gonna be better for marketing. And during that hour before the day, you can really scope out the venue. You can get drone shots, you can get authentic moments of people setting up decor, you can get authentic moments of maybe the dad preparing for his speech or the mom preparing for her speech. And this has been golden for me. And also you can just hang out in the bridal prep room or the groom prep room with that extra time and not feel like you have to get, your checklist of shots. And by hanging out there, you can get more moments of them just hanging out and being real with one another. So those are my 2 areas that I really like to look at, having kind of an hour before my start time to get there, and then really padding portrait time. And then also, like, because every wedding is a little bit different, I always like to say, okay, I need 30 minutes for this. I'm gonna pad myself an extra 15 minutes. And just having all that padding is going to be amazing. Now, not every wedding day you can do that. Some are really tight, but I would much rather, if I need to give an extra hour for free just so I have more padding during the day, that's worth it to me than trying to, fit all my day in the prescribed timeline just because I don't want to waste an hour of my time. You're actually gonna get a better film by padding your day like that. And lastly, this has kind of been like a secret hack for me lately, is so often, so say during the ceremony, when they do the first kiss and they walk down the aisle, I mean, I did this for years and years and years. They do the kiss and they walk away, and you kind of just say, okay, I'm done filming the ceremony. You go pack up your stuff, you get your audio equipment, and you're done. But what I started to realize is some of the most authentic moments happened right after the ceremony, when the bride and groom kind of walked away. And usually that's when it's before the bridal party gets there, they walk away, and they usually have a moment where they're just like, oh my goodness, we're actually married.
Sorry, I cried the whole time.
Oh, you're so beautiful. Fuck, I couldn't even hold it in. It was so crazy.
That was so quick. Why didn't he only talk for like 5 minutes? That was too fast. It's so pretty.
How awesome is this day, huh?
Look how pretty it is. And all the people we love are together. And there's Lily has a little parasol.
And sometimes they start to cry, sometimes it's really emotional. And what I've started to do is after the bride and groom do their first kiss, they walk down the aisle at the end of the ceremony. I follow them all the way to wherever they're going, to when the bridal party comes up, because then the bridal party comes up, they're giving each other high fives, there's lots of tears. Like, that is such a good moment, and to not capture that, you're doing such a disservice. Like, I have captured some of my most beautiful, authentic moments with couples during that time right after the ceremony. So those are my 5 tips to actually get more authentic reactions on the wedding day. If you guys have any more tips, definitely leave those in the comments below. And then also I have a free guide for you guys that I made, and it's how to raise your prices without actually affecting your bookings, and how to start doing it right now. So if that's interesting to you, you can click the link that pops up right here and you can download that guide. It's completely free, and it's helped a lot of filmmakers immediately raise their prices. So definitely check that out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.